Welcome back to the Anytime Sports Podcast Show. I'm your co-host Colin. I'm here with my other co-host Andrew, and we're going to start things off like we always do with some NFL news. Andrew, do you want to kick us off with some NFL news?
Yep, most definitely. It was a great week in football. Coming up in Week 7, we got 3 big names returning. Dak, who was out since Week 1, he's coming back. He's starting this week for the Cowboys. Kenny Pickett, he sat a week with a concussion. He's coming back this week to play against the Dolphins. And speaking of the Dolphins, Tua is expected to come back from his scary concussion we saw a few weeks back. So we'll most definitely see those guys starting.
That's good to see. Another news that came out this week, played in the Thursday night football game. Rodney Anderson traded from the Carolina Panthers to the Cardinals. Not the only notable news coming out of Carolina. We'll get to that in a little bit. But what do you think about Rodney Anderson joining the Arizona Cardinals?
I mean, as you guys saw, probably on Sunday, Robbie Anderson was really mad at his coach. He was all screaming in his face, and he got sent to the locker room, kind of like an AB 2.0. So he was sent to the locker room, sat there for the rest of the game. He's like, I want out. This place is a mess. Got to the Cardinals. Cardinals gave up a 7th-round pick in 3 years, so they basically gave up a bag of chips for a guy that can perform. We saw how Robbie Anderson can perform, so we'll have to see what he does for that team because they do have Hollywood Brown out for the season, so he'll be a really big help on that team. Plus, D-Hop being back, most definitely they could do great with both those guys.
Hollywood Brown, yeah, I don't know. Is he going for the season?
I believe so. I saw that somewhere.
I just looked that up real quick.
Yeah, don't take my word for that, but I think that's why
my thought was Ronnie Anderson. I mean, it's an okay trade. I mean, I don't really like it as much. I mean, he's just a speedster. That's all he really is. He's not really an amazing route runner. He's just going to burn you deep. And I think you didn't see much of him yesterday because there wasn't any chemistry built between quarterback or trust built between quarterback and wide receiver. You saw a lot of DeAndre Hopkins because there was nobody else to really go with. I mean, James Conner was out. I mean, the running back yesterday did an amazing job filling in, and those holes looked very good for him to run through. So their run game was very, very good. But I don't know about Rodney Anderson right now. I think we'll need a couple weeks to judge if that was a good trade or not. But you're not handling too much to get a guy like Rodney Anderson. He is on the older side of things, but another news coming out. The Ravens are signing veteran wide receiver Deshaun Jackson per Ian Rappaport. What do you think about Deshaun Jackson? He usually does this, signs with the team for a couple weeks during the year, and he's signing with the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, he's old. We thought he was done. He's coming back. I mean, Lamar needs the help. Not that Lamar throws, but having that guy there, that if Lamar wants to throw, he has a guy he can trust. I like that trade I like that pickup for them.
He's a big speed guy, like Rodney Anderson. Big speed guy, beat you over the top. That's what he's very, very good for. And let's talk about this OBJ thing. Where do you think he's going to go? The news coming out that he might sign with the team. He was spotted in Minnesota a couple days ago. Players like Travis Kelce's trying to get him to come to the Chiefs. What do you think about OBJ?
We've seen him everywhere. Yeah, like you just said, I saw a clip of him. He was in Minnesota. I don't think he's going to go to Green Bay. Personally, I don't think that's where he's going to end up. But my top 2 predictions right now would have to be Minnesota and Kansas City. Kansas City could use him. They have Juju. Juju, he could play. He's just not like OBJ type of a player. Like if we have Mahomes and OBJ, that'd be lethal. Also, I could see him going to the Bills. There's been Von Miller and him talking back and forth and stuff. But I don't necessarily think that that's what the Bills need at this point. They have Stephon Diggs. They have Gabe Davis. They have their receivers. I mean, if he goes, they're great for him. But I don't think that's what the Bills need right now.
Saquon Barkley tweets at Odell Beckham Jr. just about an hour ago to come reunite and Giants. Who knows? That could happen.
Maybe.
Also, former players like Dez Bryant wants to know if he could come and be a Cowboy. I mean, there's a lot of different scenarios coming out. We'll give you updates on the Anytime Sports Podcast Instagram if Odell news breaks today, tomorrow, or next week. We'll be there and will be your source of information. Another important source of news is wide receiver Elijah Moore is requesting a trade. The team is not accepting his trade, is not approving his trade. They're going to try to work it out internally. But definitely Elijah Moore frustrated, and I get why, because he is a very good wide receiver.
Yeah,
I believe he's a very good wide receiver. He showed it at the end of last season why he could be a really good player, and he's trying to build his stats up to where when he gets to that second contract to where he's going to get paid, and he wants to get paid, and he wants to have the stats to prove with it. And I think he's just frustrated with the quarterback play in New York, the Jets, even though they're 4-2, I believe, or 4-1.
I think it is
4-2.
4-2. Yeah.
But they're doing very well, but it doesn't seem to be revolving much around him, and he wants it to revolve a little bit around him more in the offensive scheme. I don't think they're really doing him just and setting him up in the best position for success there in New York. So I'd like to see him go somewhere else and maybe make an impact. I really like maybe if he goes to Kansas City. We keep talking about Kansas City. We keep talking about Baltimore might be interesting. That might be a good spot to go.
Chicago,
Buffalo,
Green Bay.
I cannot see him going to Chicago because I don't think he'll accept a trade to Chicago. I don't think any wide receiver would accept a trade to Chicago who's actually got some pull to it. Yeah, I think he'll be happy in any of those places. I mean, everyone's trying to get their money, so I mean, who knows? I think there's just could be a better scheme that crafted around him to succeed.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, other pieces of news, like I said earlier, Dak Prescott. Quinnen Williams went off against the Packers. He was actually doing really great.
Yeah, Quinnen Williams is doing very well. Defensive tackle for the Jets. He's doing very well. I mean, he had a very good game. He had a very good past 2 games. So, good job to him and all that.
Yeah.
But now let's go to some of the big news that we are not reporting on. And we're going to go into our next segment. We're going to go a little bit more in depth, talk a little bit more about the CMC trade that just happened. CMC, if all you don't know, Christian McCaffrey traded to the San Francisco 49ers. The Panthers get a second-round pick in 2023, a third-rounder in 2023, and a fourth-rounder in 2023, and a fifth-rounder in 2024, all for CMC. What are your thoughts on CMC to the 49ers? Who wins this trade? Who loses? Who's the big win-loss here?
Really, I'm going to have to say it. I think the Panthers won this trade. They got a lot for a guy that's getting older. He's injury prone. He's getting injured every year. The fact that they were able to get 5 picks out of that for a guy that banged up, and the Panthers are in a rebuild state. They're like, okay, we're getting rid of Robbie Anderson, CMC. DJ Moore, he wants out. They might get rid of him soon. We don't know. They're also thinking of keeping him. But they're in a full rebuild mode. Whatever draft picks they could get, it's a good trade. And for the Niners, also good for them on their part. I don't think he was necessarily needed, maybe to take some of the load, some of the strain off of Debo's back. So now they're going to have Debo, Kittle, Ayuk. They're going to have CMC and Debo. All those guys are going to be lethal together.
I like the trade from the 49ers side of things. You're getting a running back there that is really a generational type running back.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very good, and the one thing about him is if he could stay healthy. That's the only thing. I mean, with this, we've seen it. If this 49ers team stays healthy, they're one of the best teams in the league. I would say they're the second best team in the league if they're all healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, they got depth everywhere, but if all their starters are healthy, this team will go to a Super Bowl. We saw it before. We saw it. They're a good squad. They have a great coach, and now that they have Christian McCaffrey, I mean, Kyle Shanahan will be doing a lot of things with him. I really like Christian McCaffrey. I think he'll blossom in this new role because I think it's not all on him, whereas in Carolina it was all on him.
Yeah.
And whether he liked it or not, there was really nobody to take away that pressure from him. Well, you got Debo on one side, and you got Brandon Ayuk, you got Kittle. You got some guys there that could really take off the pressure off of you. And hey, that might be the best situation. And I think CMC helps the offense move forward. And I disagree with you on the fact that it was not needed. I think it was
Yeah.
needed. San Francisco's always gone through running back injuries. They always have. I think it's needed when you're on your third string running back. You're hurting in the running back position. I mean, Debo was gonna collapse this season if it wasn't for something to help him out and get the pressure away from him. I think it would be a lot better for CMC in this situation, but I do like your take on the fact that I think the Panthers won this trade technically. With the amount of picks they got, phenomenal. I hope they hit on those trades, but who knows? I mean, actually, the history of the 49ers drafting in the past few years has been very, very good. So I don't like the fact that they gave up so much for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was kind of a little bit necessary for the fact that, hey, you got a squad here that could win a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
This team could win a Super Bowl, hands down. I have utmost faith in the 49ers that they'll be the ones representing them in the Super Bowl. I think they got a great team. But it's kind of a win-lose situation for me. I don't like giving up that much draft capital. They gave up a lot of draft capital, a second, a third, a fourth in this year's upcoming draft and next year's fifth-round pick. So you're giving up a lot to move for a guy who has been a little bit injury-prone, but he showed he is a generational-type talent when he's healthy. I hope it works out for him. I hope they do the best, but this is a very risky move. If this doesn't pan out, you may be looking at the owner saying, why did you trade? Why did you trade that much for CMC? You look at the GM. There could be a lot of things going on in the owner's head there. Like you traded up to get, well, you drafted Trey Lance. That might be bad. You traded for CMC, and if he doesn't work out, well, even though you've been a really good coach, you made some decisions that are head scratchers. This team deserves a Super Bowl. I think they got the talent to do it, but they all got to put it together and stay healthy, which they have not shown yet that they can stay healthy.
Yeah, really, that's what it came down to last year. The fact they were able to make a run, pretty much to the NFC Championship last year. They lost to the Niners in a close game. That was with a banged-up team last year. Jimmy was injured pretty much the whole playoffs. They were able to put that together in an injury-prone team already. I want to see what they could do this year. And also on the fact, if Elijah Mitchell comes back, that leaves more strain off of Debo and CMC. And the fact that Debo and CMC are both kind of like receiving backs, that gives them more options for plays and switching it up a bit.
Yeah, it definitely does switch things up a bit. And looking at the 49ers schedule going forward, this week they play the Chiefs, so they got some hard competition up ahead, and they get the Rams off of a bye week, by the way. So Sean McVay is going to be very tough there. Even though we haven't seen the Rams perform as they performed last year, I believe they can get a step up after a bye week here. And they play the Chargers and then the Cardinals. Like we saw last night, the Cardinals scored some points. Hopefully they've turned their season around a little bit. And then you got the Saints, okay. The Dolphins, okay. The Buccaneers. Those are some teams that can give you some trouble besides the Saints, and then we'll see about the Dolphins right now. But besides the Saints, all those teams that I listed are some formidable teams, and I think they needed to they're probably thinking, hey, we need to make this trade, so maybe CMC could help us get one, maybe two wins with that, and if you do that, that's very good. I mean, this team fights, so I wouldn't be surprised if they'd be in the playoffs and they'd be representing the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that just pushes their odds of going to the Super Bowl up that much more because they had Trey Lance. Trey Lance was doing good when he was in, but he's out now. They got Jimmy. Jimmy's had playoff experience, Super Bowl experience from being in the Super Bowl a couple years back. But, yeah, if everything pans out, CMC stays healthy, everyone stays healthy, they have a good shot at getting it all.
Yeah, definitely. Let's head into last night's game. I know I mentioned it, but the Arizona Cardinals got back to what they were doing well, and they scored 42 points. The score was 42-34. Arizona ended up winning this one. Benjamin with 12 carries, 92 yards, a touchdown. It seems like he was getting open a lot during that game. He did a very good job. The holes seemed to open up very well for him, unlike the other side, whereas Kamara only had 11 carries for 49 yards. He had a lot more in the receiving game, but Chris Olave had himself a game. 7 receptions, 106 yards. He dropped a few balls that were hit really hard against him, but notable like the 2 pick sixes really early set back the New Orleans Saints and hurt him a lot. What were your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, the Saints, they were looking pretty sharp. Andy Dalton threw a good dot downfield. I saw that part. What's really hurting the Saints team right now is injuries. They don't have Jarvis Landry. They don't have Slant Boy. They don't have Jameis Winston. All their guys they traded for in the offseason, or they picked up in the offseason, in Slant Boy's shoes, he's back. They're not in. So, really, injuries are killing this team. Last night, we saw some decent football from the Saints other than Andy Dalton. But he's Andy Dalton, we know him. But for the Cardinals, I really like it. D-Hop is back. Robbie Anderson, they have him now. So we'll have to see where this team goes. They're 3-4 right now. They're going to have to show up. They're in a tough division with the Niners doing good now. Oh, wait, no, they're not in the Niners. Yeah, they're in the Niners division. My bad, I'm getting down on myself. But they have the Niners, the Rams, and the Cardinals all in that same division. We'll have to see what happens there. They're going to have to play some good ball.
Yeah, the Saints are really injured right now, as you mentioned. Michael Thomas out, Jarvis Landry was out. This team is was really limping into this week, and they were hoping for just some consistent quarterback play. Hey, if Andy Dalton doesn't throw 2 pick sixes, this game could have been a whole lot different. We could be seeing the Saints win in this game, but it was too big of a hole to kind of get themselves out of. DeAndre Hopkins made his appearance back in 10 grabs for 103 yards. He looked very, very sharp, and Ronnie Anderson looked like he needed a little bit more time with the team, which is very understandable. Kyler Murray looked like Kyler Murray can look, and he was 20 of 29 for 204 yards and a touchdown. He looked pretty good. And how about this Arizona Cardinals team getting back on track and doing
Hang on 1 second, you froze.
track to the playoffs? But with their win here, they got one more win. Keep taking it week by week, and maybe they can get things going.
Yeah, really, DeAndre Hopkins helps this team a lot. They weren't looking too sharp. They get their star receiver back. Kyler Murray already has a connection with him, so yeah, they're gonna do better now that they have him. That's how they made their undefeated run a bit last year.
Shout out to Isaiah Simmons on the pick six. I saw Isaiah Simmons. That was a good one. The only one to not get a pick yesterday was Budda Baker. I'm wearing his jersey right now, but he made a couple good tackles in the game, so I don't think he was completely useless out there. He's a very good safety, so I like him a lot. So congratulations to the Arizona Cardinals. Let's move on to our contenders and pretenders. I'm going to explain this a little bit. A contender is someone who we believe has a legitimate shot at making the playoffs and going beyond in the playoffs. I have the AFC, Andrew has the NFC, and a pretender is a team that has a good record right now that looks like they could make the playoffs, but they're ultimately, in the end, we think these guys are pretenders. I'm going to start off with my contender. That is the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are coming off of a win last week against Kansas City, 24-21. They finally won in Kansas City. I believe that gets them over the hump. It gives them the confidence to move on. Yes, they have a bye week this week. They get a nice earned rest, get back to the grinding, and they'll be representing the AFC in the Super Bowl, and that's my contender in the AFC. What is your contender in the NFC?
My contender, I'm going to have two here. I honestly, after we were talking about it earlier, I think the Niners are going to be a contender. After that CMC trade, and we're hyping them up. I really see them, and as well as the Eagles. They've just looked really solid, beating pretty good teams along the way. So I want to see where both those teams go.
Okay, what do you have as your pretenders?
My pretender, I have one here. I would say the Rams. I saw somewhere that the early playoff bracket was in. The Rams were the 7th seed. They haven't looked hot this year. Matthew Stafford hasn't looked like he did last year. He might be a bit banged up. I don't know. But really, they're not getting anywhere near where they were last year.
My pretender is the Titans. And I know you might say, well, the Titans are leading their division right now. Well, we've seen this team before. We've seen how it is with if Derrick Henry gets stopped, sometimes they'll get stopped a bit, and they'll lose their track. They've lost 2 games this season, pretty bad. They lost against the Bills. They're gonna have to get past the Bills, and I don't think they'll get past the Bills. They lost to the Giants, which the Giants are, they're we can maybe say they're legit, but they're a decent team. And when you have gotten wins like they have, they've been against some mediocre teams at best, like the Raiders, the Colts, and the Commanders. They've been really mediocre at best, and you really haven't distanced yourself from those teams, only losing by like less than 7 points in all those matchups. I mean, so 2 of them, I mean, lost by I think 4 or less than 3. I mean, this is a team that I don't think is going to make it far. I know the record says they're doing good right now, and I think because of the division they're in, they can make it and maybe sneak their way in the playoffs. I think they're pretenders. I don't like them even going past the wild card round, really.
Mm.
I mean, I don't really like their team, how it's looking right now. If you could stop Derrick Henry, you could pretty much stop this team, and that's my pretender.
Yeah, like as we saw last year, they had the first round bye, and then their first game of the playoffs, they lost to the Bengals. Really, they're not a team built for the Super Bowl. The fact that they have to go through teams like the Chiefs, like the Bills, like the Bengals, they have to go through all those teams to get to the Super Bowl, even get a chance. So I don't think they're better than any of those teams that are doing good in the AFC right now.
Are the Bengals even going to make the playoffs?
I think they will. All their losses have come
Who knows
within
right now?
a touchdown.
I mean, who knows? I mean, loss too. I mean that could be a hot take as well, but we're not doing hot takes this week. Let's go into our weekly predictions.
Yes, let me go over our last week's.
Let's go over last week. What were the key games that somebody either lost or either I won or you won, and what was the score?
Okay, so the overall record this week, you won 4-2. I got you over Pats Browns. Bengals Saints.
Patriots.
Bengals Saints. I got that. Cardinals Seahawks. You got me on that one. That was one of the key ones. Bills Chiefs. You got me on that, and then Eagles Cowboys. Those were like your 3 main ones you got over me.
Well, another week. A week is another week, Andrew.
Yep.
Well, we have the Thursday night football game already played, so we can't pick that. Let's move to the first round of the noon games. Let's go to Atlanta at Cincinnati. Who do you have in this matchup?
I'm gonna have to say Cincinnati. Atlanta. They looked solid last week against the Niners. They actually pulled it together against the Niners, but I don't think they're gonna have it this week. I think I'm gonna say Cincinnati.
I'm gonna go. Let me pull this up real quick, because this is very hard to pick. Let's see. Well, I clicked on the wrong game. I'm trying to look up some stats here, real quick. The Falcons and Bengals. Falcons traveling to Cincinnati. Mariota looked pretty sharp last week. This Jamar Chase's questionable. Do we know what injury he has?
No, but it's probably just some hamstring or something tightness or whatever.
You want to look that up real quick, boy?
Yeah.
Keep blocking. I mean, this is to me it's a hard one because I don't really like Cincinnati at this point. I mean, they did come off of a win last week, I believe, right?
They did. They beat the Niners.
Win 30-26. They lost to the Ravens a week before that.
Okay, I have the update on Jamar Chase. Coach Zach Taylor indicated Friday that Chase, with his hip, is slated to play Sunday against the Falcons without any limitations. So it was his hip bothering him, but he's all good for the game.
Hips bothering him, huh? I guess I'll go with the home team in Cincinnati. I can't. This Falcon team is definitely overachieving. I don't know about them. I want to fall in love with the Falcons, but I can't yet. So I'm gonna go with Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati will get another win. They'll jump above 500. Let's go to um.
Lions,
Let's
Cowboys.
Lions Cowboys.
Yep.
Lions Cowboys. Lions traveling to the Cowboys at that is a noon game.
Yeah, I think Dak's gonna get a win on his revenge game. So, or on his
Or
first game
win
back.
on his revenge game.
On his first game back.
I like this Dallas Cowboys defense a lot.
Yeah, they have a solid defense.
They have a solid defense. And I don't think the Detroit defense is very good at all. I mean, I like their Detroit's offense, but I don't think their defense is very good. I'm going to say the Dallas Cowboys are going to win this one. Sadly, they're going to win this one. I think it's going to be a lot through the ground, though. I don't think it's going to be through the pass. I think they're going to kind of nurse and get Dak's confidence back. I don't think it'll be a lot. I'd be surprised if Dak got like... I mean, he'll get 200, but I don't think he'll get over 250 passing yards.
Yeah.
Maybe 200. I don't even know if they even do that. If they're doing well on the ground, I think they might stay on the ground. I think you'll see a lot of Tony Pollard and a lot of Zeke that game. Because I think they're going to want to maybe calm down Dak and get him back in the game.
Yeah.
Help your defense out a lot, too. Amon-Ra St. Brown's coming back for the Detroit Lions, so that's a good thing. It looks like DeAndre Swift is coming back, even though he's questionable. He's set to play. So you got some guys that are coming back for Detroit. Maybe they can make this a game. I hope they make this a game. The Detroit is looking to get their second win of the year, so hopefully they can do something like that. Let's head into another game. Let's head into the Let's go to the noon game. Let's Colts Titans. Colts heading to Tennessee. Last time these two teams played, we were at that game, and Tennessee won that game. So who do you have winning this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say the Colts in this one. The Titans. This could go either way. Last time the Titans were ahead. The Colts were coming back. So I stole your pick.
I was gonna go with. Crap. I was gonna go with.
I could take Titans if you want Colts.
No. If you wanted Colts, then take Colts. I'll still take Colts then. But Matt Ryan's looked very good, looked very efficient the past few weeks. JT's coming back healthy, so hopefully he'll get going. Only got one touchdown in the year, which is very strange. But I hope he gets going. They got Alec Pierce. He's doing phenomenal as a rookie. Michael Pittman's been doing really good. They didn't have Alec Pierce in the last game they had. I think Traylon Burks might be out.
Yeah, he is.
Traylon Burks is out. So I like Indianapolis a lot in this one. I'm gonna go with them. Okay.
Moving on
Let's
to the next.
head to another noon game. The Packers at Commanders. Who do you have winning this one?
You know, I'm gonna have to say Commanders. Bear down, baby. But
You're gonna have to say Commanders.
Either someone's gonna get injured because it's at FedEx, so someone's getting injured. If it's Aaron Rodgers getting a career-ending ACL injury, that'll probably happen.
That's bad. It's bad. You know what?
I'm not wishing that on him, but it's FedEx Field. We never know what's gonna happen.
I'm going with Green Bay in a bounce-back game. I know they've had a couple losses here or there. They're favored here in this one. I think the wide receivers will get a very good day. The Green Bay wide receivers will have a very good day. I think Washington doesn't do as well. They didn't do as well last week. The only reason why they won last week is because the Bears stink. But I like Green Bay in this one. I don't think home field advantage really matters. I think Green Bay's still going to win. They got the better quarterback. They got a better team. So I'm going to go with Green Bay, even though they've had some struggles. Let's head into the next game. Buccaneers at Panthers. I'm going to take the Bucs in this one. Who are you going to take?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Bucs here. Panthers are just in a rebuild mode. I don't think they're in a win-now mode. They could basically just tank for the first overall pick and draft C.J. Stroud out of Ohio State And there you go. You have your quarterback of the future. You just draft receivers around him, then you build a new team. But yeah, I think the Bucks are going to take this one. The Panthers aren't really suited to win this game, especially without CMC now.
Despite how injured the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are, I think they'll still get in a rhythm, and I think they'll still win this game. They need to do well in the run game. I'd like to see them get the run on the ball a bit more,
Yeah.
and getting Leonard Fournette some more yards. But I like Tampa Bay a lot in this one. I think Tampa Bay will win. Tom's gonna get the boys rolling in Carolina, and I think they'll get a win here. Let's head into the next noon game. Giants at Jaguars. Who's going to win this one? This one might be an interesting game.
Yeah.
Might be a little trap game here. Who do you have taken this one?
I would say both these teams surprised all of us this year. We weren't really expecting them. But I think the team that looks a little bit more complete to me and has done a little better, I'm going to say the Giants.
You're going to take the Giants in this one. I'm taking the Jags in this one. I like the Jags a lot. I like Trevor Lawrence. I like Christian Kirk. I think Travis Etienne, who's gotten majority of the snaps for the past 2 weeks, I think he'll develop into his own. I think he might get a breakout game for him. He's very explosive, so I can see that happening. I like the Jags in this one. I think the Jags will sneak one out at home. I think they'll. I don't think it'll be. I think it'll be a close game in the 20s. But I think the Jacksonville Jaguars finally get one. I think New York gets kind of exposed this week, and I think the Jaguars will win this game.
Yep.
Let's head into the next noon game. We'll have the Browns at Ravens. Who do you have winning? Well, I'll go first, I guess.
Go. Yeah.
I've been asking. Baltimore will win this game. Lamar will have a good game, in my opinion. So I like the Ravens in this one a lot. I don't know, but the Browns, I'm not very confident about the Browns.
Me as well. I don't know what's going on with the Browns. Deshaun's set to return back in Week 11, but he also, I just saw he got, the other day, he got pulled over for going 30 over the speed limit. He was going like 97 miles an hour, some Henry Ruggs type speed. I don't think he's going to get a suspension for that. Usually you don't. So he'll just have a ticket, and then I don't know. There's a few more cases floating around, so we'll see what happens if they get Deshaun back Week 11. But right now, I don't think the Browns have what it takes to beat the Ravens.
Okay, let's go into two teams that really need a win here at the 3:05 window slot Central Time. Let's go to the Texans Raiders. Texans heading to the Raiders. Both teams and looking for another win. Texans coming in with a better record with 1-3-1, or the Raiders are 1-4. Who do you think's gonna win this one?
Texans and Raiders. I would have to say, I think the Raiders have more of a built team than the Texans. They have Devontae. They have Derek Carr. Although the Texans have Davis Mills, I think the Raiders have more over what it takes.
Yeah, it's hard looking at that. The Raiders are coming off of a bye and a loss against Kansas City. Houston's coming off of a win, a 13-6 win. I think they've looked pretty decent, but I mean Houston's only got 86 points for this season. Las Vegas is 125 points for. I'm gonna say give me the Raiders in this one. I think they'll squeak one out. I don't think it's gonna be a high scoring game, but I think you're right. I think there's more complete team is the Las Vegas Raiders. I like them a bit more, and I like them to win this game at home, especially because it's going to be loud there. And I don't know what Lovie Smith has planned, but hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully Lovie Smith tells him who's boss. But let's head into the next game. Jets at Broncos. Jets traveling to Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado. This game might be a bit interesting. I'm picking the Jets to win this game. I think they're going to go a lot through the running game. Breece Hall and Micah Carter will do a great job on the ground. And I think they'll just manage the game. And I think that Jets defense looks very, very good, especially against this Broncos team that has definitely struggled in the red zone and definitely struggled on offense in general, and Russell Wilson being questionable.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. I'm going to pick the Jets as well. I think they're more, like we've said about some of these other teams, they're more of a built team. The Broncos have been struggling. Russell Wilson's been struggling. Once you put a Jets team in there that's been rolling, that's their defense has been rolling. Sauce Gardner's been going off. You have Brees Hall who's starting to light up. I think the Jets have more than the Broncos do, so the Jets are going to come out with this win.
Yeah, I do like that. Let's head into the next game. We have the Seahawks taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. This game could be a bit interesting. Seahawks coming off of a 19-9 win against the Arizona Cardinals, a team that just put up 42 this week, and the Chargers coming off of a win against Denver in overtime, 19-16 in that game. Keenan Allen may be back. It looks like he might be back for this week's game. And Geno Smith is quarterback for Seattle. So I mean, I like that better than I like that better than Russell Wilson, to be honest.
Yeah.
But who do you have in this one?
It really depends which team shows up. If the Chargers show up like we know the Chargers can play, then the Chargers will win. If the Seahawks show up like the contenders they've been this year, the Seahawks will win. But I'm going to say the Chargers in this one. In a close game, though.
In a close game. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say the Chargers, too, as well. I hate saying it, but I like the Chargers just a bit better. I think they're just a more complete team, and I think with Keenan Allen back, that'll help a lot with passing. I don't know. I think the Chargers will get another win here. Sorry for Seattle. I just don't. They had a couple good players on the defensive side of the ball, especially that one corner. But I don't know. I don't think Seattle can keep up with what Los Angeles's offense is going to be. Even though I could definitely maybe see them doing it. I don't know. This is probably one of the hardest games to pick in my opinion. But I'm gonna go Seahawks like you. Let's do Chiefs.
You mean Seahawks or Chargers?
I'm picking the Chargers.
Okay, you said Seahawks right there.
No, I said the Seahawks looked. It's a hard game to pick.
Oh, you said you're gonna pick
the Chargers.
Never mind. All right, moving on. I'll let you pick the next game. All right, we'll move on to the next game. We have CMC's Niners debut against the Chiefs. Who are you gonna pick?
This is a hard one to choose, but I'm. This one's not. I was gonna say if Kansas City's at home. I'm picking Kansas City in this one. I think it'll take a week for CMC to get acclimated on the team. I like how San Francisco always fights, but I think Kansas City's firepower will end up winning this game.
Yeah, I'm gonna the Chiefs have looked really, really good, but I'm gonna say CMC is gonna go off in his first game. I think the Niners are gonna win this one. I agree with you. He might not be.
The more you say it, the more I'm more confident that the San Francisco 49ers are gonna win, but I'm gonna take the Chiefs.
He might CMC might be a little rusty, like you said. He's just getting built into the system, kind of like. And it was such a late week trade, too. It's Friday. He got traded on Thursday. The game is in 3 days, so he's going to have to put that work in. But it's going to be kind of like Robbie Anderson. He had a short amount of time to get acclimated to the team. But, I mean, we'll see what happens there. But I think the Niners are going to have a little bit more to come out on top.
Okay, let's head into the Sunday Night Football game. Steelers traveling to the Dolphins. Tua coming back on his return. I'm going to take Tua in the bounce-back game here. Miami's look good when Tua is playing. I like it a lot. I like Jalen Waddle. I mean, although he's questionable, I really like them a lot, and I think they're going to win.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. The Steelers have played some really sloppy football. Kenny Pickett's coming back. I know that. I don't think they have what it takes, because when we saw Tua in that Dolphin system, they looked unstoppable up until he got hurt. They looked great with Tyreek, with Jalen Waddle. I mean, getting Tua back in that system, if he remembers everything after his concussion. But if once he gets back in that system, the Dolphins are going to be really good again. But I think the Dolphins are going to win as well.
Okay, let's head into the Monday Night Football game. Bears at Patriots. I'm going to go first on this one. I'm going to think the Patriots are going to win at home. even though I don't care who's playing. Bailey Zappi, I don't care. Mac Jones. It looks like Mac Jones might play this game, but I like Ramondre Stevenson rushing a lot against the Bears defense, and I think they're going to win.
Yeah. Normally, I would agree with you, but I can't vote against the Bears, so bear down, baby. But Khalil Harry's Bears debut, I think he's going to play. I saw he was training. I think he's set to play. So we'll see what happens there now that the Bears can pass the ball at all. They were close against the Commanders, but you need to stop giving the Bears primetime games. But I'm taking the Bears.
I don't know if this is correct, but it says the Bears are fully healthy. There's no injured players on the roster.
I did see that. But other than Byron Pringle and who else? Other than Byron Pringle and like those other guys.
Oh well, no. There's some guys that are out. Byron Pringle, Jalen Johnson is out. Cody Whitehair is out. Yeah, there's some guys that are out.
There was reports that did say they had an empty roster. I think those guys are all on like the IR, so that might be different.
Yeah, that might be. No, I mean Jalen Johnson's just out.
Yeah,
so I don't know why.
So we'll see.
Estimated. Oh, it's estimated to play.
Yeah,
Jalen Johnson. But I think the Patriots are gonna win this one. But yeah, this has been an episode of Anytime Sports Podcast Show. Hope you liked it. If you did like it, please leave a comment and drop a like down below. If you have a minute, please follow our Instagram, TikTok, all that shabam. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you all next week.